It's Flubb, and this is the Flupdate. So, if you haven't been listening, if you weren't listening on the live version, I had a little mess up, a little problem with the recording equipment, fixed it all up. So, those of you who are watching right now, thank you for sticking with me and dealing and listening to me while I was silent. It's always fun to have all these little slip ups, but the show will go on, and I'm excited for tonight's show because this is a good episode. I have plenty of different information for us. We got two different tournaments. One, we got the results of the elimination tournament. The second one is we got the Kiev Major to talk about. That was introduced last week. We also have Elder Titan's Spirit Bug. That's an interesting bug that happened, and it's kind of something I feel like you guys need to know for general content for getting better and understanding certain different things. It's not just a cosmetic bug that kind of sucks for you to know, but it's also something that's just good for general commitment to what you're going to be playing the game with. The the last couple things is obviously more self-focused. The I got the Flubb question that we do every week, and lastly we got the announcements. The announcements about me and where I'm going to be going in the next couple weeks, or just this week and this upcoming week in general, what I'm going to be doing. So first off, I would like to talk about the Moonduck Elimination Tournament. The the how it ended up. OG was got first. Complexity Gaming got second. Onyx, Team Onyx, and Alliance got third and fourth. And I generally at this point I'll tell you something that was great about the tournament, something that I generally enjoyed. The thing is I enjoyed so much about this tournament, just watching it in general. I can't really tell you this is a game or that is a game to watch because there's so much good content since they have to go outside their drafting box, so to say. Meta is something that gets boring and stale, and when a tournament like this comes along, it's once in a year, and you need to take advantage of it if you have the time. In a week, 2 weeks, whatever, it's just fun to watch these games, come back and watch them all really because I had a lot of fun. I know that you would. It's just it helps you learn some different styles of drafting, helps you understand why certain characters are in meta or not in meta because maybe one hero does something a little bit better than another. It's a very strong way to help you understand the game just through a tournament that it doesn't focus on the idea that everything's available kind of, because everything is available, but it's banned out by us and kind of has a little bit of a switch up. That's that's kind of the thing that we all want to know. Those are the tournaments that we should really pay attention to. Are these quote unquote fun tournaments because you get to learn a lot about drafting in the idea of okay, what does this hero have available to itself? What is its toolkit that it has so that it can be a good mid, a good off lane in the right situation at the right time so it can help you out in other patches in the future. So I'm going to get off my soapbox and say, and go on to the next tournament, give you guys a little bit more information. The Kiev Major is coming up, and it was announced this week. The Kiev Major is going to be the next major. It's the Spring Winter 2017 Major, and it will be in Kiev, Ukraine. So I mean, it is a awesome trip, and if you guys ever want to go to Kiev, Ukraine, maybe you guys could and get together a team of friends or team of players that you've been playing with for a while, a general team, and play in the Open Qualifiers from March 6th to the 9th. Hopefully, get that free trip to Ukraine. That'd be awesome. If you get past that point, you can go to the main qualifiers, which will be from 10 to 13th. And if you don't get past that point, that's fine. You can always watch them. So that'll be the 10 to the 13th in March. And then the group stage will be sometime in April. They haven't really announced that yet. And the main event will be from April 27th to the 30th. So we have some great Dota to watch. You can relax right before finals as you're doing that hardcore studying and watch some of the main event. Or if you're hopefully you guys win and you guys could get to the main event and when you're all the way up there and just play in Ukraine for a little bit. I think they moved the location just because of how beautiful the city is. So it'd be pretty cool to go there. try it out. Try to get your team together before March 6th. I, I wish I had a team right now. That's what I'm thinking, but that's okay. And another cool thing about this tournament, they're switching it up a little bit. After the group stage, there will be single elimination bracket. Single elimination bracket is something that I think is going to be a little bit more fun for the viewers to watch because it's a little bit more high stakes. It doesn't have that natural freedom of, oh, okay, they lost, they're down to the losers bracket. Yeah, now we have to be worried. At every game, every opportunity, the players are playing at their hardest, their fullest. So hopefully we see a lot of really cool strategies come out at the early start of the games, and it's not just boring in the. I mean, it'll be boring in the group stages somewhat because they'll keep their. They may even be more boring because they're going to keep their skills and their strategies a little bit tighter since that has more weight in the actual tournament. But it's something to give it a little bit of an extra shock that it needs. So I'm excited for that. The games are still keeping to their natural Dota rhythm of having the best of three, and the grand finals will be a best of five. So we're not missing out on anything too much. They're just spicing it up a little bit, starting with something new. The next thing I want to get into is the bug between the Spirit Breaker, she's not Spirit Breaker, the Elder Titan Spirit bug. And he has that spirit that he lays out, and if you actually put the spirit in front of Clock and he tries to hook through it, it actually interacts with the spirit and hooks the spirit. Obviously, it doesn't do any stun damage or anything like that, so it's a great way to block a hook shot right now because it's a bug that's not supposed to interact that way. And you can use Spirit Breaker, you can use this, I keep saying Spirit Breaker, Elder Titan Spirit as a way to stop Clock in general, and he's really good versus Clock before that bug even happened as a way to generally keep Clock pinned down when he cogs up, because when you cog up you kind of stun yourself for a second, and having that ability to keep him locked in at that point to then set up even more after the cogs can dissipate is really nice to have, and it kind of sets him up anyway, even if he cogs into an ultimate of Elder Titans. So it's kind of like something that he was already really good at, but it's something now that he's pretty much the number one pick versus Clockwork just because of that bug now. And I highly encourage you to pick him versus Clock, even though he's a little bit out of meta right now and he's a little bit on the I don't want to say worst scale because no hero goes down to the worst scale. He goes down to a scale that's not top tier. So now I told you about the bug, I want to move into the question phase, and the flub question for this week is from Tim Kaninsky. So at Tim Kaninsky, he asks armor versus HP. When is it best to get more armor, and when is it best to get more HP? Now, some of you might think that this is an obvious question. I think that it's an important question, though, and I think it's something that it's always good to ask. Don't ever be afraid about any questions that seem simple or not. This is, I mean, it goes down to basics where it's about building the hero, and when you're building a hero, you're trying to counter the other team with your items. So if you're going to get more armor, you're obviously going to be doing that more versus the physical side of things, the things that it affects. So if they have a lot of right click, a lot of damage, you generally want to try to armor up. If you want to get HP, that's more of a situation where it's going to be more versus spells. There's also magic resistance that plays into that, but it's more of the explosive type of damage where HP is more important. That bigger when you have that bigger pool just to be able to survive the big blast, the big nukes that happen. Now, you can have a little bit of both in that scenario, like PA, so it's good to have a little bit of armor and a little bit of health versus a hero like PA. In general, though, there's something about this question that I kind of want to get at. You don't want to always necessarily build a hero a certain way just because that's the way they build it or that's the way the pros build it. Especially, there's a lot of things that I've seen like AC built on certain heroes because they need that quote unquote need that item. And versus heroes that generally buff everyone's armor, that's not that great. So like Sven, you don't necessarily want to pick that up. You just want to have a better way to make him explode from magic damage so that, and hopefully he doesn't have a BKB and you can take advantage of that quicker from the very beginning if you can build into not necessarily Dagon, but having a veil or some way to generally keep him locked out of his ability just to armor up. So keeping your stuns on him, keeping that high damage output that does not have to deal with the armor in general. So if you're looking for different items and what to build in what scenario, I would generally say a lot of times in the armor versus HP section, you're gonna have a situation where your carry is gonna probably want to get armor more often than not. He can go armor or HP depending on the situation, but for supports, it's really hard to armor up, and it's not generally the strongest reason to pick it up. You may pick armor items just because it has the ability to have another thing like a lotus orb or an armlet, or not armlet, but just general medallion, that those types of things. And it's more of the activative ability that helps that out. So HP items on supports, probably armor on your carries and cores, and HP most likely on your off lane, unless if it's like someone who's like tanky, like like an underlord. So that's kind of where you're coming from, and that's kind of the important things to look at when you're thinking about items in general. If you are ever in doubt, I think that probably HP is the way to go. I would say more often than not because it will help versus all damage types. And if you think that they have, if you just see like three cores that have right click damage, then obviously armor's the way to go. So that's kind of that was the question. I want to move into announcements about what I'm going to be doing in the future. Some stuff I'm very excited about. First off, I'm going to be casting a little bit more. I'm going to be trying to get into casting a lot more. So if you guys in general want to have anything that's casted, you can tweet me or the people I will be working with in the future at Fafnir Dota and at Dota Brews, or better known Fafnir and Livericks. We're going to be doing some casting and doing some different things. So I'm very excited to be doing that, and I hope that you guys can think of me as a caster and be a lot of fun to share in that experience with you guys. I'm also very happy to announce that we have a new installment coming out on the Toffees Network, and it's going to be coming out tomorrow. It's called the Brewmaster's Draft. And this show is, as its name, it is about drafting and it's about brew. So we are going to be drinking beers and drafting both the captain's mode world and from the all pick world, because all pick and ranked is now a version of picking and drafting. So we're going to give you some advice on what to do in a captain's mode setting or in a ranked setting if you're playing all pick, just something that can kind of help you guys out in general. I will be doing the first one. We'll kind of go back and forth between me and my new co-host, which I'm happy to announce, Kimbrel. He is a guy from .p, generally known around .p circles. He is the captain of the .p Devils, and we will be kind of talking about drafts and how things go. We will be bringing our own drafts, and we'll kind of dissect them and talk about them and kind of just like relax and hang out for a while. So it'll be a lot of fun, and I hope you can join us tomorrow. We'll be doing it. I will send out a tweet tonight, but we were probably going to be doing it around 4 Eastern tomorrow. So I think 4 or 4:30 Eastern tomorrow. You guys will see it tonight when I tweet about it. And we're going to be feeling out the show tomorrow, so it's not generally going to be something too crazy. It could be long, it could be short. We're kind of just feeling out what the time is and where we're going to be moving on from there. So it should be pretty exciting, and I hope you guys can join us tomorrow. So that kind of wraps up the show. We kind of have nothing else to talk about at this point. I would like to close out the show And I would like for you guys to, hopefully, if you guys want to help us out, you could subscribe to any of our videos. At our Twitch channel, you can subscribe at twitch.tv/toffees_Dota2. If you want to go to our YouTube channel is 5 Midas Gaming. And if you subscribe or like there, that'd be great. For our Patreon, if you are feeling extra generous, you can give to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/toffees. If you want to, you can always follow. If you have any questions or anything, concerns, or just general things that you want to talk about, whether it's my shows or Toffee shows or anything like that, you can tweet either one of us. You can follow Toffees at Toffees TV, or you can follow me at my Twitter at Flubdota. And if you have any questions for the Flupdate, I generally send out a tweet once a week to try to remind you guys. If you guys have any questions for me that you want me to answer, you can tweet me at Flubdota, or you can send them to my Gmail account, crazyflub@gmail.com. Also, we are working on different things to the Patreon and uh, the subscribing idea, where we are going to, with a new show, we're still kind of working out the details, but we're going to have a situation where if you donate a certain amount of money, or you subscribe, or if you do certain things like that, we're going to actually dissect drafts live on air and kind of talk about it. We're even talking about maybe bringing people onto the show to talk about whatever you guys need in general. If you guys want to talk about the way of drafting and kind of like explain your draft a little bit, and then we can kind of like all hang out, have a beer, and talk for a while. So it should be a lot of fun. If you guys have any questions about that as well, always tweet me or email me. I'll be happy to answer. So, if you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I did. I really enjoyed myself this week, and you guys have now been updated. You guys have a good night. I'll see you next week. Actually, I'll see you tomorrow too. See ya.